everybody.
Okay.
Can you guys hear us? Oh, okay. I see Cousin Eddie is already chirping at us. So he's dying to give your only cool Canadian. He's waiting for your weather
Weather
report.
report.
Yeah.
I was actually so it's not bad out, but yet we're still getting snow, but it's kind of nice. Well, my version of kind of nice, there's still a lot of snow on the ground. But I was in, again, on the weekend in my shorts shoveling snow out in front, and yeah, it's kind of nice weather out here.
That's good. Killer, what's going on, man? Were your safe travels back to LA?
Yeah, so I think I kind of realized a little bit that I'm not a huge fan of flying. So it's like I realized how safe planes are, but we start getting a little bit of that turbulence, start puckering a little bit. I was still a little bit nervous up in the air, 30,000 feet up. I was like doing the old embarrassing thing where like every time there was a little bit of turbulence, I would like grab the handrest or something or like the seat in front of me a little bit just instinctively. And I started to get very self-conscious about it for the people next to me. So I tried to stop, but I was getting a little jumpy.
That's why you just need to pop some tunes on and just chill out.
I was trying.
I know it's easier. It's easier said than done. Yo, what's up, Colleen? What's up, girl? So as everyone knows, Killer and I actually met up, had a beer in Chicago over the weekend for St. Patty's Day. It was pretty awesome. We were only missing our man Prince. What's up, Miss D? So,
yeah,
how was your St. Patty's Day, Prince?
I didn't do anything. I stared at a chart and sat in my boxers doing nothing. I don't have a life. What are you talking about? I don't get out.
Gackos, you met with Killer and not me.
I just saw that. I'm sorry, Gat. It just didn't work out. You were up thumping at the club, Gat, and I can't hang with you. You're a young pup. I'm an old dude. I was at Fado's. So I told you to come there, but obviously you didn't listen. So you know what, Gat? You're dead to me.
Oh. You can't be dead to me. I'm dead to you.
Just kidding.
We had hey, shout out to Gat though. We had that meetup on Friday with Luke Martin as well. It was a lot of fun. We probably had like 40 people there or so. We did a little Q&A where we were sitting on a couch like some kind of big dogs, just answering some questions about crypto. I was incredibly shit-faced that night. Because I got there like pretty much completely sober, and so I hit the ground running really hard. Was trying to play catch up. But then I think we had dinner. I remember sitting down to dinner. I remember ordering my steak, but I have zero recollection of eating the steak, of like leaving. I vaguely remember walking back to my hotel room, but it was one of those mornings where like you wake up and you're just like, oh my God, like I'm alive. I'm here in my bed somehow, like, but you don't really know how.
Those are the absolute worst. I mean, there's nothing more scary than that. Yo, what's up, Miss D? Sorry, I should have given you a shout out earlier. That's my fault. I'm an ass. So, guys, what do we think of these markets here?
Oh, these are fun. I don't know. There's a lot of emotion in the air. People go from wanting to sell everything to wanting to buy everything again in the snap of a finger. We're kind of bipolar, I think, all of us crypto traders.
We kind of talked about that a little bit. And Prince, while Killer was up in the air flying on Sunday, it's super annoying to me how the sentiment on Twitter is, our house is burning, we're all dead. And then the second that, something gets little life, everyone is just...
It's very quick to turn the emotions, and I think that's one of the main reasons I really do. I think we all kind of get sick of Twitter at times, just because of the idiots. But at the same time, you got to love it because you can really get a good gauge of the market in general, right? Just from your feed. It's like you see a bunch of people just freaking out. It's like, okay, well, we're probably getting a little close to the bottom here because I just seen about 4 people tweet that they're selling everything. It's so
yeah. So somebody asked, is this a bull trap? I think gun to my head, I'd have to say yes, or it's maybe the start of a bull trap. I don't think we're at a bull trap yet.
Yeah, I think we still go higher to really make it a vicious bull trap. I do believe, we're gonna go down again, but I think we got to suck some more people in first.
Yeah,
So
I think so too.
Yeah, it's always about like how I always think, it's like if you're Mr. Market, right? Because the market is just kind of its job is just to fuck everybody, really. So I always think to myself, it's like, okay, well, what move would the Mr. Market do to pretty much flip the middle finger to as many people as possible? I think right now the move would be to go higher, because I think a lot of people are expecting it just to go back down right now. And then we'll really pull the bottom out, once enough people have turned fully bullish again, and it's kind of just a cycle, right? You see it so much.
Yeah. And Prince, you put on, this will be out in the next whale report, which we're hoping to be out towards the end of the week here. Prince, you alluded to I think is it Y?
Yeah, Wyckoff. So
Wyckoff.
I guess, and it's a setup. I've kind of been a fan. I'm a fanboy of Wyckoff market structures. That was kind of like my main focus for a long time, was just studying that stuff. And so there does look to be a little bit of a setup starting here on a Wyckoff structure. I've seen a few posts on Twitter about it as well. And a big thing about Wyckoff is just, kind of like the accumulation distribution zones. And it seems like we might be setting up a new accumulation zone. But the thing about accumulation is it's a pretty vicious market segment, I guess, situation where you get a lot of real big swings up, you get a lot of real big swings down. So it's not very friendly, even though that's what it does look to be appearing. And if that is what's happening, then, come later in the year, we'll probably see things starting to pick up again, if that's what's playing out. There's always that if, and it's just a risk reward thing.
And I think that goes with without saying that nothing in the market is truly predictable. It's what do you always say, Prince? We're playing with probability.
Yeah, it's just probabilities. We're taking risk reward into account, and we're going off that. I think people, it's funny. I had somebody who was like, "Oh, you're a trader. Like, that's so cool. Like, that seems just so wicked." And it's like, well, you ever go to a casino before? Like, that's really all I'm doing, just in a different platform. So, we're just playing probabilities. Yeah, exactly.
I think I'm pretty confident one of two things is going to happen. Either we bull bounce, like we have a bull trap here where Bitcoin bounces to maybe, I don't know, I'm throwing out like 11K, 12K, where people like really start to think, oh, we're going back up. And it's got to get far enough to really convince people of that, or else it's not a true bull trap. I could see, so the first situation is that happens, and then we slowly bleed out down to like maybe 5,000, 4,000 Bitcoin over the course of Bush Light, fuck you. But and so I think we either slowly bleed out for like the next 8 months or so, just agonizingly boring and painful.
It's funny, this prediction you make right now, because if we do follow the Wyckoff structure, accumulation structure that appears to be being set up, it can always be eliminated and invalidated. But if it does play out, which it appears to be, we will go probably to about 13K. We'll break that double top barrier that we had. And then from there, we'll probably, it would do a bleed down to around, 6K-ish, probably make a new low, potentially.
Did you say 18K down to 6K?
No, 13. It would break.
Okay.
It would break that double top and really suck people in if this plays out. So, and I think,
I think that's the first situation I could see. Second is that we actually do start going back up. The reason I think the first one is very possible is because if you look at the chart from 2013, when that bubble popped, it looks very similar. That's kind of what happened. We had a big bull trap, and then it was just a slow bleed out for like 8 to 10 months that I'm sure were just agonizing if you were in the market at the time. So I think just on the chart, it looks very similar to that. But on the flip side, there's a lot more money. There are a lot more legitimate good projects, a lot more institutional money waiting to come in. There was none of that back in 2013. And so I think the other side is that, maybe all of that new money and all the legitimate projects cause us to actually legitimately bounce up where we see all-time highs again. I know that's kind of lame, like, oh, you're saying it's going to go up or down, but I think a little bit more specifically than that, bull trap and bleed, or we race back to all-time highs.
And people talk about, kind of relate this back to 13, and I think we've got stronger fundamentals. I wasn't around back then, but so I'm going off of people like Need a Coin, the guys that were Messiah were around back then. say that, and I would agree with them that the fundamentals now are a hell of a lot stronger than what they were then. So I don't know percentage wise if we see that big of a drop comparative to 13, but I definitely am sold on what Prince is selling with the Wyckoff and Killer too. You allude to. I do think we'll go up a little bit, and then we're going to drop back down to 4,000 or 5,000 in my opinion, and whether or not.
And that would all fall right into, the accumulation setup. And that's what I mean. Like, if this is what's playing out, it's going to be vicious. It's going to chew up a lot of people because it's a lot of ups, a lot of downs. And if this does play out, we have a pretty big range that we're bouncing in between. I saw Crypto Khalifa ask who I follow that trades Wyckoff. I don't really follow many people who do, actually. It's not really the most common thing you see people using to trade off of. So yeah, it's kind of just, do your own studying and stare at some charts and some figures for a while, and you'll start piecing together moves.
Yeah, I really haven't seen that much either. Like, I've heard about it before. I don't really know it too well myself, but you talking about it was like the first time I kind of looked into it, to be honest.
Yeah, it really focuses on, accumulation, distribution, your markup phases. It's kind of cool. It plays the whole market psychology into things. So I like it. It works for me. I've made some money off of it. So
yeah, and I think too, if there is in a down market there is money to be made. Yeah. In a bear market, it's a little more challenging. But if you can come out of the bear market alive and well, imagine what you can do in a bull market. So
that's big time.
Did you guys watch the G20 at all? Been following that today?
A little bit.
I haven't. I mean, a little bit. I was in a conference. I'm actually in people in Iowa will get this, understand what I'm saying here. I'm actually in the Bush capital of the state of Iowa today and tonight and tomorrow. And I was at a conference all day. So I didn't really follow it. I was trying to piece it together a little bit. I just saw that they basically said they don't want any more regulations for cryptocurrency right now. So
yeah,
other than
that's the big takeaway.
Yeah. Like there was a pretty big pop. It was kind of funny. As soon as that came out and, through that, the market was getting pushed down pretty hard, but you could see, it was like, hey, this is going to bounce soon. Like this has got a big bounce coming. I think a lot of people were just waiting for that big bounce. I know, Dale and me were talking. It was like, yeah, this is going to bounce hard here soon. And then next thing you know, that little report came out, and within, 10 minutes, things just started flipping right around. So,
yeah, you guys have been pretty good about calling this stuff. I got to give another shout out to Gat as well. He's been like very accurate so far with this little air trends we've had. So definitely pay attention to what he's saying as well. I would say.
I would mirror that. Killer, Gat, if you're still on, man, you have just been crushing it, and when paid group, etc. when BitMEX, tutorial, whatever the case may be.
If we enter a big accumulation zone, what do you think will happen for alts? So that'll be interesting. I don't even know what to say about alts, because alts are just it can be like playing with fire at times. Like the gains can be unbelievable and the losses can be unbelievable too. When there's a lot of volatility for Bitcoin, I find that actually tends to hinder alts in their Bitcoin value anyways, which typically I do concern a little bit more with the Bitcoin ratio than the US dollar ratio. So I don't know if it would be the best thing just if this is accumulation, because the range looks to be a pretty big range. So I think you're going to see some, like we just saw where, like I was looking at the Neo chart and the thing just dumped yesterday and the bounce back was insane. Dragon too. I think Dragon popped like, was it 70% or something? Like, I'm not even sure.
So it was down a shit ton.
Yeah. So, you're going to see more of that. These just like, you're going to see probably some big selling pressure at times. And then just these big, relief rallies almost that are just huge. So.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, Killer.
I think it'll be ugly if if the market kind of muddles. I just think we talked about this before. During the true like bull all market, it was an ebb and a flow between Bitcoin and alts. One would go up, another would go down maybe, and then another go up. And it was like they would kind of trade off, taking the lead. So I really do think both have to be bullish. Or I think Bitcoin has to be bullish for alts to be bullish, to be honest with
Yeah,
you.
or at least Bitcoin just settle down into a very low key range where it's not doing a whole lot, right? I find that's really our optimal scenario is if Bitcoin can just flatline maybe for a little bit, which I doubt will happen anytime soon. But
Yeah.
Someone asked on the podcast Twitter, how long each day are you guys looking at charts?
oh god, well this is all I do, so like I don't have a life.
You know, and as someone like me that's still a wage cuck, I probably, you know, I'm an early riser, so I'm up at about 5. The real, as Empty would always ask, what's the real time? So real time is Central Time. Empty beer. So I'm up about 5 a.m. and I, you know, make some coffee and then I'm checking charts till about 6:30, or just, you know, going through other stuff, getting stuff ready for the podcast, and then about lunchtime I'll kind of, when I'm eating lunch, I'll kind of check the charts for half an hour. You know, a lot of it is just stuff that I'm in, my short-term stuff, swing trades. And then at night, once my son is in bed and, you know, settled in there a little bit, I'll check charts. So I'd probably say 2 to 2.5 hours a day.
Dale, you're turning into a bit of a BitMEXer.
I am. I have been. My best play so far has been I shorted Cardano over the weekend, and it's kind of funny because I shorted it at 2,200 sats, and I you know, went to Chicago for Patty's Day and completely forgot about it. I got totally hammered Friday night, and then I think it was Friday night I got in bed and looked, and us three were all kind of drunk talking, and I was just like, whoa, when did Cardano get to 1,700 sats? And
look at these returns.
Yeah, I closed it down at, I think it was 1,750. So that was probably my best run ever to date. I know it trade. like with Mex, I still think I'm a horrible Mexer, but I've gotten pretty lucky, and
well, you've been crushing it lately, man. So
it's more so of just this is going to be bad. I'm going to get torn apart for this. It's really been off of looking at the chart a little bit, and, you know, mainly market sentiment and what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
As to how
you know what, Dale? I've been having the opposite happen to me. Several times now, I've forgotten I've had a margin long open on Poloniex, and I've returned to liquidate some to find I'm down huge. So with Ethereum, which has just been absolutely shitting the bed. I must have opened this fucking thing somewhere around like 1,000, and like it's traded on the ratio. But I went into my coins actually to liquidate a little bit, just because I was getting kind of, you know, I say I'm getting kind of a shitty feeling at the market. Meanwhile, it's already dumped 60%. But and so yeah, I open it and I'm like, oh god, I'm down so much on this fucking Ethereum long. I'm just like, well, I might as well just ride it out now. So fast forward like 2 months, I'll probably just be completely broke. But I feel like I'm in too deep, so I'm just gonna ride it out.
Yeah, Ethereum took a freaking pounding, and that was ICO's EOS, I guess it looked to be, that was dumping just a ton of their ICO contributions. Yeah, that was big. Like, you know what, you kind of like the charts looked like Ethereum wanted lower, but I did not expect that, to say the least. So
yeah.
So one guy goes, "How down are you guys from the all-time high?" Being honest, yeah,
a lot.
There was a point when Tezos futures mooned where I was like up real big, but I don't know if that counts because you can't even trade them yet. But like in terms of like legitimate highs, I'm probably down like 50-60% probably.
I'm at about 30-35%, and that's just me doing some real stupid shit. So
Killer, what did you say? How much were you down?
I'm probably down about 50-60%.
Yeah, that's exactly where I'm in. But here's the thing that
you guys got more alt exposure than I've had.
I definitely do. And here's one thing I want Hunter to realize is that I'm down from an all-time high that much, but I'm up a shit ton more from my initial investment. And to me, you know, I'm, you know, 6 months ago I would have been pissed about my all-time high, but when you sit and think about what you're up from your initial investment, then it's fine. You're fine. It really you know, that and Bush Light really calmed my nerves.
Yeah. Wait, I wanted to bring this up too. Speaking of Bush Light, So Dale and I
know
meet
what you're
at
going.
this. Yeah. So Dale and I meet at this bar in Chicago finally. So there's a gigantic line out front, and I'm on the phone. I'm like, Dale, and you know what's funny? His name's not Dale, but I'm still calling him Dale. Like even in real life, I think. And so I'm like, Dale, where are you? I'm waiting out front, and I'm like shit faced at this point. It's like 3 p.m. This is on St. Patty's Day, so I've been drinking all day, and so I'm like, Dale, and we see him in the street, and we finally meet. And then we go to this nearby bar. And I go up to the bar and I'm like, Dale, what do you want, bro? What do you want? He's like, just like a Bush Light. So I go to the guy. I'm like, I'll take one Bush Light. He goes, Bush Light? We don't have Bush Light.
It was awful. It was a travesty.
Yeah, I like made that a little bit more dramatic than it was. He didn't really like react, like he didn't recoil in horror, like I kind of made it seem. But he was just like,
you turned around to and you're like, they don't have Bush Light, and I'm like, fuck it, just get a Bud Light then.
Yeah. Bud Light is the best light beer, by the way, for anybody who doesn't know, by far.
Gat,
wrong.
Gat, he keeps busting my balls in this chat, and I'm gonna make a damn special trip to Chicago. Your ass is gonna pick me up from the airport, and I'm sleeping on your fucking couch, and I am spending every waking minute with you. When you shower, I will sit on the shitter and we can talk, and you can have me for an entire weekend.
So Dale, you're going from not even seeing him to just intruding?
You know what? A guy's got to do what a guy's got to do. Okay, back to questions. I saw on Twitter, someone asked, how do you guys feel about Trump's crypto sanctions on Venezuela?
Not surprised. like come on.
I want to do like a Trump impression here, but I'm no good at it. But Venezuela's crypto is the worst crypto in the history of cryptos.
Believe me.
That was awful. Yeah. Believe me, I've spoken with all the experts. Trust me.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not surprised. Like, to me, there was just a lot of garbage along with it that I'm not surprised Trump stepped into it. So,
yeah,
you know, I wouldn't be surprised, or I should say, I would be surprised if it wasn't a country like Venezuela.
Yeah,
we don't. The United States doesn't exactly have the. I'm trying to look for a good word, but it doesn't necessarily have the friendship or ally with them that we do. You know, like our friendly neighbors to the north that have banned Dale for life. But you know, if something like that would come along, I'd be a little more worked up about it. But I'm not. Not surprising.
Well, the thing is, I mean, the Petro has never had any kind of legitimacy. Like, as soon as this shit was announced, almost everybody across the board who had like a clue about crypto was like, okay, this is bullshit. Like, nobody's gonna want to buy this.
Oh, good. Now we've moved up from a bunch of greedy entrepreneurs trying to raise a ton of money through ICOs. Now we got a freaking government doing it.
Some kind of warlord.
Yeah, how wonderful.
Well, they're not at war with anybody, but they're too poor. Sorry.
Hey, and I want to give a shout out. I was in the mall Friday afternoon when we got this outlet mall because I forgot a goddamn coat. And as anyone knows, Chicago is a little chilly, so we went to this outlet mall just to buy a cheap coat because I'm broke. And I ran into this crypto kiosk. He's in the Rosemont Fashion Outlet Mall, and we chatted. He said he was a big fan of the show, so shout out to you, crypto kiosk. Check him out. He's in the, like you said, Rosemont Fashion Outlet, etc.
Oh, another thing kind of related to that was at the crypto meetup on Friday, I was like introducing myself during the Q&A, and I was like, oh, I have a podcast, a Crypto Street podcast, like kind of just like bashfully like mentioning it. And I saw a couple people in the audience like nod their heads, and I was like, yes, like, oh, there are some people. Like,
yeah,
I thought that was so cool. So shout out Joe. I think I met two different Joes actually. One from the pod, and then there was also Dan. So shout out Dan as well. It was really cool to meet some people from the pod from Twitter in real life. So that was really, really cool.
So I still have never met a single person from crypto in real life.
It's because no one wants to come in the woods.
You live in the woods, bro.
Yeah. I don't even get out anyways, so it's like.
Hey, Prince, Crypto Chad on Twitter. It's Crypt Chad asked. He wants Prince to talk about hedging options and your BitMEX strategy.
Oh, hedging options. My bit. Okay, well, I'm not going to get into my BitMEX strategy because I'm superstitious and I just don't feel like it. But so hedging, I think hedging is really cool. There's a lot of opportunities, and I think the best example I'll use is one event that I kind of went through. So back in I think June, July kind of time, I was holding a lot of Ethereum, just spot Ethereum, and I think the price of Ethereum around this time was like $250, $300. It was kind of ranging in this area. It was making this big pennant thing. So at this time I was pretty bullish on Ethereum going forward in US dollar, but I was looking at the Bitcoin chart, and the Bitcoin chart kind of just looked like it was topping out. I just didn't like the looks of it, right? And I'm pretty conscious about when you're shedding all this Bitcoin value. I don't really like that, because I think a lot of guys for so long have focused on stacking more Bitcoin, and when it really gets to a bull market, it really pays off. So I've kind of always had that mentality in a sense. And so from this time I was holding, so I had a short open on the Ethereum Bitcoin pairing, but I was holding a bunch of Ethereum spot, and I let this short ride for a while. And it wasn't a huge short or anything, but it was low leverage. I wasn't really worried about getting liquidated or anything like that. And it ended up really paying off for me, because the value just sunk incredibly over time on the Bitcoin pairing, but yet the US dollar pairing kept going higher. So that's one example. But the crappy thing about the market we're in right now, it's not very developed, so we're very limited on our options of trying to hedge, in a sense. When you have, say, an altcoin, but it's a bigger one, usually maybe Ethereum Classic, Dash has futures, I think, still in MEX. I don't trade Dash, but Monero, so you can kind of hedge these in a sense. And then OKX has some US dollar contracts too, which give you more options. But when you got the smaller alts, which even if they're not smaller, but there's a ton of alts that just don't have any kind of futures trading, so you're kind of stuck, right? It's like, how do you hedge this? And that's really tough. That's I think someone I was talking to said that really, when you got that situation, you're trying to hedge an alt and its Bitcoin value keeps dropping, you just got to be able to margin trade Bitcoin to try to recoup some of that Bitcoin, and that's pretty tough, right? So yeah, I don't know, I could get into BitMEX all day.
Shout out Needcoin, hedging's for landscapers.
Yeah, there we go.
Hey, Needcoin, the godfather of altcoins, my man.
Yeah, see, Needcoin, I fucking love Needcoin, man.
So do I.
Fellow Canadian.
Yeah, no, and you see, like, he goes a lot into the micro caps and stuff, so he knows all about it. Like, hedging is so hard when you're dealing with smaller alts, so it's a whole different game, right?
Listen, Destro asked, guys, don't leave me hanging. What's your favorite and least favorite exchanges lately?
I don't know, BitMEX.
I was gonna say, yeah, I think Poloniex will always have a special place in my heart, just because it's the very first exchange I started on, other than Coinbase, which is kind of not really an exchange. I like Poloniex's user interface. I have fond memories of the troll box and all the shenanigans that went on with that. But I think overall right now, I would say Binance and BitMEX. I think Binance has the most liquidity for the most part.
They've been really impressive.
I like how they handle the customers too. I like the communication. They always get ahead of issues. They don't leave you in the dark, which is huge in crypto, because everything is so scary, when you don't have a centralized party to go to when shit hits the fan. So I think Binance does a great job of keeping their customers abreast of information that happens, when they might have a hack going on, or not a hack, but when something crazy is going on. And I just think BitMEX has the best interface and the best liquidity, because you're trading contracts. And so I think the guy behind BitMEX, is it Arthur Hayes? I think I'm getting his name right there. I don't know.
Arthur Hayes, yeah.
Yeah, super smart guy to make those contracts. The liquidity is really good. The interface is good with the trading view charts. So I think BitMEX is probably my single favorite right now.
BitMEX system overload, yes.
That's the only one thing that's annoying with that. But I remember when SoCal marked one of their messages as spam, and they locked his account, his BitMEX accounts, and within an hour, they had it unlocked, and he was singing praises. So that just goes to show, how awesome BitMEX is, and I echo everything Killer said on Binance about. I just love the user interface. I love the liquidity there. I love everything. But one exchange that has just royally been pissing me off lately is KuCoin.
Oh yeah, I don't even go on there.
I'm transferring my Dragon off of there because it's just every fucking time I log in there, there's problems, and I'm hearing horror stories of other coins trying to get listed on there, and and they're taking their listing fee, and then they're telling them one thing, then they come back and tell another thing, and then they take the listing fee and say, sorry, you're not getting
anyone
listed.
So any of these new coins, I guess if we got any listeners, if you're like a proof of work coin kind of thing, you didn't do an ICO, I love those kinds of coins, the ones who really start up, like a true crypto, in my opinion. Beware of KuCoin, because I don't know if they're so upfront with people. Be very cautious.
There's some sketchiness about there.
Yeah, I'm definitely moving everything off of them, and I will not piss on them if they are ever on fire.
I've heard some pretty bad stories from a coin and their team, and they're getting screwed. They're literally, their money is hostage right now. So.
And knowing that we wanted to talk about this tonight, this issue, because we haven't really talked about exchanges, hoping someone would bring it up. So thank you, listen. And if you didn't, we were going to try and swing it in. But so I put a tweet out today that said, tell me your horror stories on exchanges. And by large, 7 out of 10, every message I got was some horror story on KuCoin. So just be careful out there.
Another one I would add to that is Liqui. It's a very kind of obscure exchange, and I'm sure some people are devoted followers of Liqui, but I had a moment where I had a bunch of air swap just kind of trapped on there, and I couldn't get it off for a while, but it was just very, very scary. I would say steer clear of Liqui as well. Killer loves screwdrivers like a fat kid loves cake. Come on, bro.
Who said that?
You gotta put that out there. I maybe had one screwdriver that night. There's nothing bad about orange juice and vodka too, Joe. Okay.
Yeah, I see people freaking out because they're holding stuff. Don't freak out, but this is just like our general feelings on it. Just be cautious, right? And you don't need to freak out and do a run on the exchange, pull all your money right now. By no means are we saying go do that.
No, we are.
By the way,
Gas said that they blocked him on Twitter.
Maker's Mark on the rocks. Okay.
Oh, you can't go wrong with the little makers.
Yeah.
Someone said on Twitter, Crypto Malarkey or his @ is Crypto Grant. If you hadn't become involved in crypto, where do you think you'd be right now? I wouldn't be talking on a podcast, first and foremost.
Yeah.
Playing blackjack.
No, I think crypto has been very good to me. I've made a lot of strong connections and strong friendships with you two guys and a lot of other folks. I'm a type of person where if I get involved in something, I tend to go balls to the walls. Example was before crypto. I don't know if anyone has played Tap Sports Baseball on your phone, but I was like super crazy into that.
I've never even heard of that, bro.
Oh, it's crazy. I bought like a jailbroken phone and did some fun stuff with that game. So that's just my type. So I'm really glad that I got into something like crypto where I can actually make some money and spend my time instead of being a fucking idiot and playing a phone game.
Yeah, like there's a lot of times where it's like I'm a very competitive guy, right? So it's like I'm always caught up kind of just in the moment at times and what's going down. And sometimes it's good to take a step back and go, holy crap, I don't know what I'd be doing if it wasn't for crypto. So it's like, I'm 22 and I have no life experience worth shit, right? So, where is somebody like me going to go and have these kind of opportunities? Really nowhere. Crypto is really the best place. So it's kind of cool. And, you got to look back on that and kind of just be thankful.
So this reminds me of something Donnie said about not getting above your means too quickly. And I think I'd be roughly in the same place. I'd probably still be trying way harder at work than I am now. But otherwise, I don't think too much. I mean, I get to travel a little bit more, which is nice. I love that. The community is amazing. But Lifestyle wise, I don't think it would have changed that much, really.
Adam Nielsen, shout out to you. He hooked me up with Duke tickets on Friday, so I will be in the greater Omaha area for the Duke game. But he said in this chat, "Holy shit, you're 22." Prince, this goes back to something Killer and I were talking about. You definitely do not act 22 for the record. So
yeah,
I appreciate that. Appreciate that, guys. No, yeah, I had to grow up fast, so.
What else we got on Twitter here?
Oh, here's one. What have you guys done for passive income or like talk about mining nodes? Which ones of those do you like?
Oh,
That's a good question.
I think, I think the passive income, it really depends on who you are, right? Some guys love the whole idea of it. I know some guys who hate it because they have to have capital tied up and they just like to move freely with wherever they go. I think masternodes are pretty wicked. I love them. But again, I think there's a time and a place for masternodes. I don't think you want to be accumulating a masternode when it's in a full-on bull market. I think you want to be accumulating masternodes when, the market goes down. So like, Zcoin, I freaking love Zcoin. I think great example here, not long ago, their masternodes would have cost you about something like 7 or 8 Bitcoin. Well, yesterday when it was in that kind of the markets were in that free fall, it went down where you could have gotten one for about, almost 4 Bitcoin, just a bit under at times, So there's a good example. I think masternodes are really great, especially when you're in a down market. But bull markets, I'm iffy on them.
Yeah, it's tough for me because I really have like a lot of my shit in crypto, to be honest, So even though a Zcoin masternode is way cheaper than it was, I'm having to sell shit for it that is way less than it was too. So it's kind of like a catch-20. I mean, it's like, I can't really win. But I totally agree with that in theory.
Joe asks, guys in the chat, do you guys have a target for how much crypto wealth you need before you quit the day jobs? Killer?
I mean, I have a figure in my head. I don't know if I want to share that, to be honest, but
you never share the figure you have, but
yeah, I'd say it's maybe 2 to 3 times the money I have in crypto right now before I'd actually just quit full on and be like, okay, I'm good,
Yeah. So yeah, I'm kind of like, I guess I'm young, so I didn't have any kind of a job or anything before that. So it was just school and crypto, right? So it kind of is, in a sense, my full-time gig, and I support myself and all of that from my trading. But yeah, it's tough in this market, and especially, it's nice and easy. Everybody wants to go full-time crypto when it's a raging bull market, but I think that's actually probably one of the worst times to be looking to go full time. And typically, that's when we start seeing things kind of top out, is when we see all these people rushing to quit their jobs. You know what I mean? I think, if you really want to play it smart, you're going when the market is quiet, and if you can pull it off, that's when you're going. Because then you're not, your risk, to me at that point, your risk is a little more limited. When you're up, when these markets are at crazy highs, you're taking on some heavy risk. You never know, right? Especially the way the market was. We went so parabolic. It's like, I think a lot of those guys are, a lot of people were dropping out of school during that bull market, quitting their jobs. And to me, that's a scary thing, right? So,
and for me, it's really not a figure. When I graduated college, I basically set some career goals for myself. And I don't see myself quitting my job until I have achieved those career goals.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly for the sake of, yes, in the perfect world, I'm gonna accumulate so much crypto that my kids' kids aren't ever gonna have to work if they want to.
Mm-hmm.
But I still want to instill in my son and maybe potentially more kids if I ever have them, that, set a goal, go achieve it. I don't know if that makes much sense to anyone listening.
No, totally, bro. I
but
agree with that too.
It's more of an inner goal for myself. Plus, my wife's going to get her doctorate, and so when that happens, she's going to probably go school full time. So for health insurance wise for my family, I probably need a full time job because health insurance in the United States is a fucking joke.
Yeah.
So instead of paying out of pocket for that, So I would say I'm probably gonna continue my regular job for 2-3 years at the very least.
Yeah, I think working in general is kind of a healthy thing. I mean, you see stories all the time of people who retire, they lose their purpose, and they're dead 5 or 10 years later because they have nothing
Right.
to do. They sit around, they waste away. So I think in general, work is a very healthy thing. But if you're working a job that you fucking hate and you feel like you're chained to your desk for 8 or 9 hours, that's misery. So it's very much about the type of work you can do.
Right.
And so I think what it's going to be for me is, at the point where I can do just like the podcast full time, or just like contribute to whale reports full time and trade a little bit on the side. That would be amazing, because I want to do something. I want to have something to apply my mind towards. I think that's healthy. And I sure as hell wouldn't want to get up in the morning and have nothing to do. I don't think that's a good thing.
It's like, this is all I do, and I'm telling you guys, like, I don't think it's healthy the way I go about it, because I'm such an obsessive personality, right? And crypto is my obsession. This is how I get, and so I can't deal with other stuff. It's just I'm 100% on this thing. And, to me at times it's like you just feel so mentally exhausted, I find. So I've had to do little things to change that. And so at times I'm like, man, maybe I should go out and kind of change things up, get some more activities throughout my day. I think, maybe I'll start running again or something, but
maybe chase that professional hockey career again, Prince.
No, that's done. That's done.
I don't like that attitude. Okay.
That's how old I am. 28.
Oh, everybody's wondering our ages. Jesus. So, okay, yeah. I'm 22. Killer, you're 28. Dale is... What are you, Dale? You're 22 too, right?
I'm 47. No, I'm 32. A lot of days I feel 47 though.
ASL. Hot shout out there.
Oh God.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, Joe? Okay. Back on Twitter, someone says, when looking at volume and market cap when selecting coins, what do you tend to look for?
Oh. Volume and market cap. First, we kind of get this question a lot, right? I don't know if I keep it to as just simple when I'm just as coin market cap. Obviously, if I think one of the most interesting charts right now in crypto, I was talking to Dale about this, is the metal chart. It's on Binance. And you hear me pronounce that correctly, guys?
Wow.
Yeah, I know, right?
It didn't register. I was like, what?
I know. I was like, what exchange is he talking about?
I believe you mean Binon, sir.
Those speech classes are really paying wonders.
Yeah, I think, take a look at this chart for anybody kind of, and this is something that I would be interested in buying, and I'm thinking about actually making a position, because to me, the risk reward is fairly, it's easy to determine in a sense with that chart right now. And you look at the volume and you have a steady increase in volume, and the price is just in this accumulation zone, it looks to be. So, to me, that's like a chart right there. If you want an example of something that I would say, ooh, that's kind of juicy, right? Like I can determine my stop levels, where I might want to be taking profits pretty easily. So.
Yeah, this is hard because there are some coins that are low caps where I hate them, and there are some coins that are low caps where I love them. I think AirSwap is an example of something that's very low cap right now. It's maybe, the market cap is probably, actually, let me check on this because I don't want to give you some bullshit figure. But it all depends on the project. I think like a coin like AirSwap has a really good team behind it. I think if you look at their competitors, they're super undervalued. So AirSwap has a market cap of 40 million right now. And for some coins, that'd be really high. But I think for a coin like AirSwap, it's super low. So it all depends on everything. We talk about this all the time, where evaluating a coin is a mosaic and a puzzle of a bunch of different factors: the chart, the fundamentals, the team behind it, the current exchange environment, everything, So it all depends on a lot.
Yeah. And then I think most importantly, what is Bitcoin doing?
Mm-hmm.
We can find the greatest projects, but at the end of the day, I think if Bitcoin, wants to say dump pretty hard, it's going to affect everything for the most part. There might be the odd coin that, decides it's going to pump or something, but it's going to be, maybe one or two out of, the majority. So.
Do you think we
Uh,
will see crypto billionaires in the next 5 years?
Oh, we've already
Absolutely.
seen them. Christ,
Yeah.
there's tons already. So many of these developers, and like we saw who is Hoskinson, Charles Hoskinson on Twitter the other day.
Is he a
Yeah.
billionaire?
Oh God, yeah. He came out. He's like, I'm down $2.5 billion. He's like,
What?
you think I'm nervous? This was yesterday or something like that. So yeah, you know, a lot of these developers and the founders of the teams, they have some massive stashes of these coins, right? That they really just created almost out of thin air. Made a lot of guys insanely wealthy. I think the Ripple guys were like wealthier than Mark Zuckerberg at one point during
Oh,
the
true.
crazy bull run. Like
Yeah.
they're out there. It's just the billionaires in crypto are a lot more silent. They kind of lurk in the shadows. They're not very public. They're not, Roger Ver isn't your typical crypto billionaire. They don't go around telling everybody they are.
Yeah.
yeah, when Troll Coin gets to 1,000, which it will get to 1,000, I will be a billionaire.
Of course, you got Trollcoin.
That's an interesting question from Logan Mayer. When was the last time you had a big paradigm shift in how you approached all of this?
Oh wow.
So my last big one would have been, I think, the start of to me, the last true alt season. I don't really count. Like, I guess a lot of people say, oh, December was alt season. To me, it wasn't the same kind of alt season as like it was in last April, May kind of time frame. That was just insane. And I think I had a shift there on how I approach things because, you always have to be evaluating the market. What's the market looking like? Is the market going into full on just craziness? Like it just wants to go up and it doesn't want to do anything else? Well, then I think in those moments, you got to be aware of the situation you're in, but you can put a little extra risk on at times, right? You can push it a little harder and, come out with more money, but you got to be aware because when the market turns, you can't be like that anymore. When you're like that, you're going to run a big risk of just getting, wrecked at some point, right? So I think, a shift in mentality, all that, it just, it depends on the market, the way it's trading, and then you have to evolve, adjust, your approach to it from that. So, and as traders, we always have to be, able to adjust because when we get set in this one mindset, this one style, it might be working in the moment, but I doubt it's going to be working forever. You know what I mean? Like it's just the markets are always changing.
So, kind of counterintuitively, I think my big paradigm shift on this stuff was probably when I first really got involved in August of 2016. So, I bought my first Bitcoin in early 2016, and I was just using it as kind of a means to make a purchase. But I thought, okay, this is whatever. This is some kind of bullshit that's going to fall to zero, whatever. I used it for what I needed it for, and then I abandoned it for like 8 months. And then I got back into crypto when Monero had its bull run in August of 2016. And I was reading about it, and I was reading about some other projects, and I was reading about how companies like Andreessen Horowitz, which is a big venture capitalist firm in Silicon Valley, and other big VC firms were investing in crypto projects. And I'm like, okay, I don't know about this stuff, but enough really smart people are that I think there's something here. And so that I think was the big shift for me where I really kind of went in like full on at that point where I was like, okay, again, I don't know about this, but there's enough smart people involved in this space that are committing major capital to this space that I feel like this is going to be around for a while. And that view has only strengthened over time. So I think it was really kind of when I first got involved.
Andrew says, what percentage of your guys' crypto holdings is in hardware storage, hot wallet, or an exchange, long-term?
I ain't telling you that. You're going to try to hack me, bro.
100% cold wallet.
Yeah, 100% cold wallet, offline, paper, ledger, tracer.
I have nothing on exchanges,
No,
etc.
nothing.
Local trading company says, you guys thought about a career in crypto somewhere, but something you'd ever consider? Yes. Shout out here to Crypto Bobby for starting with AirSwap. Just makes me even more that much.
Nicest guy in crypto, one of the nicest, absolutely, for sure. Couldn't be happier.
Makes me more bullish on AirSwap. I would definitely work crypto if something were to present itself. So if any people are listening, yes, send Dale a message. Looks like Yo, go ahead.
Okay, let's talk about this coin Zilliqa. I hope I'm pronouncing this okay. Zilliqa. I think it's Zilliqa. It could be Zilliqa if you want to be weird, but symbol is ZIL. Have you guys heard of this? What do you think?
I've heard of some people shilling it. I don't really know a whole lot about it, honestly. I've seen some guys that I have a lot of respect for, though, in the space. They're pretty hot on it. They've been pretty hot on it for a while. I think even before the ICO was going, they were really excited about it. And these guys aren't the type of guys who get into garbage. So, I guess I can judge maybe a little bit on that, yeah, it's probably a decent project, but really I am no one to put too much of my opinion out on it, because frankly, I just don't know really that much.
Yeah, I know a little bit just because I've had a couple people who I respect show me it. And it's getting kind of a little bit of hype. But I think their primary thing is basically around sharding and scalability. And my thing with that is like, okay, that's cool. But I mean, a way more developed project in Ethereum is developing sharding as well. So if that's their main claim to fame, and I could be wrong about that because I really just started researching this coin in earnest probably like 30 minutes ago. And so I don't know. But if that's their main kind of selling point is sharding, then I think it's going to be tough. And the thing is, I think Ethereum might be the big winner in terms of that because it has more developed, more kind of devs working on it at this point and working on sharding and scalability. But that's not to say that Ethereum will get you the highest returns because, ZIL is right now like 4 cents. So you very well may buy it and it goes to 40 cents and it gives you way better returns than Ethereum, even though it's not going to be as long lasting. And so I don't know. I have some people saying it's good, so I might look into it.
Yeah, I've had a few people DM me asking, hey man, what are your thoughts about this? I'm holding some. What do you think? And it's like, hey, I don't know what I think. I don't know anything about it, but the market cap doesn't look too bad, and I've heard some good things. So yeah, just ride it out. Like, I don't know what to say.
All right, I need to comment on this. Somebody mentioned Tezos. Somebody also
I saw
said,
someone
"Don't get
say,
killer
"Don't
started."
get
Well,
killer
I'm started, okay, because I'm emotional, and especially during this bear market, I've become even more aggravated with Tezos. First of all, the Tezos subreddits are a little bit of a joke. So there's a main Tezos subreddit. It's full of fucking trolls and downvoters where if you say anything logical that's against the team, keep in mind, the team has been delaying this shit for like 6 or 7 months at this point. So, heaven forbid we criticize them, even though they've been screwing up. But anyway, you just like logic has completely gone out the window. So, like, people are just downvoting common sense things. I think one of the things is like, so Tezos has a new foundation, which is super bullish. It has Olaf Carlson Wee, the founder of Polychain Capital, who's a big investor in Tezos. I feel really good about that. But some of the community members are such idiots, and I just cannot get a hold of it because, like, you'll say something like somebody they're looking for any positive news on this fucking thing. And for people who don't know, Tezos has not launched yet. Like anybody who invested in Tezos, donated bullshit. But anyway,
tote bags.
Yeah, whatever. So
still haven't got my tote bag, by the way.
Yet. And so that's why everybody's so frustrated because it's not like something like Ethereum where like, okay, you may not like it, but you can sell your stake and move on if you don't. Like you're trapped. And so I think Tezos has a bunch of work ahead of it.
Yeah, I don't even know. I don't even keep up with it half the time because it's just doing its own thing. And
yes, I am butthurt.
Actually,
yeah.
No, it's like butt hurt.
Yeah, BUT.
We'll get our money one day.
Both butthurt and butthurt.
We'll get our money one day.
Oh, that's right. You're in it too.
Yeah, I'm in it too. I definitely agree. It will be like the setting for a Hollywood movie at some point, or a documentary about the crypto Wild West and the mess that was going on. There's no way I don't say Tezos falling into that somehow.
Yeah. This is interesting to me. Joe, who I met at the meetup on Friday, shout out Joe, pod member. Pick your number one priority in a cryptocurrency: decentralization, censorship resistance, permissionless, scalability.
I don't know. Can it make me money? Like,
yeah. I'm here for the technology.
I'm not gonna sit here and be the guy who says I'm not in it for the money. I am here because I see a lot of profit potential. So, but I think I don't know. Governance is probably a cool thing for me. I like governance, so.
I would say censorship resistance, because I really buy into the main selling point of crypto, the main kind of valuation metric being as sort of like a Swiss bank account, a Cayman Island bank account, like a store for assets that you don't want a peeping eye on. And so I think censorship resistance is like really the main factor that keys into that and that makes that viable. So something like Monero, I mean, I think it has good decentralization. I think the scaling is whatever, but I don't think that's even that important for something where the main purpose of it is to hide assets. But I really think that's crypto's best use purpose is as sort of a digital gold. And I know people refer to Bitcoin all the time as digital gold, but I really think Monero is in a lot of ways like a better Bitcoin for that purpose. I think if you look at the addressable market for offshore assets, it's conservatively 10 to 15 trillion dollars. That's a lot of money. The entire crypto market cap is like 300 billion. And if you just take a look at privacy coins, the entire market cap is probably like, I don't know, like 50 billion maybe. And so if you look at a 50 billion market cap in an industry where the addressable market is 10 to 15 trillion, I think there's a hell of a lot of room to grow there. So that is the main thing for me. And those are the coins I feel most confident about.
Yeah.
Okay, so someone asked on Twitter, given the recent downtrend, what do you guys like to do to get your mind? I think they meant mind. They said kind. Get your mind off the market and prevent yourself from getting burnt out.
I have a lot of methods. I don't know. Not going to go over them all, but one I like to do, I like to meditate a lot. Every day I try to at least. Another thing is I like to just read, and I love reading stories about other great industry leaders, the greats kind of thing through history. And I really like reading biographies kind of stuff. So their entire life, like, as a kid up to when they died and how they went about things, because I just find, there's so much you can learn. So
this comment from Connor Miller made me just raffle. My wife won't let me listen to Livestream because I'm on vacation. To all of you unmarried men out there, this is when you grab your headphones and go to the shitter and pretend to have violent diarrhea.
Connor, shout out to you, buddy. I totally, as the only married person out of the three of us, that's totally something. I bet you I started crypto and really talking to these guys, my wife always says to me, "Man, you pee a lot." I go, "Well, I drink a lot of water," which is true. But the minute, and I can say this because I know she's not listening, the minute that I feel the urge to pee, I get up with my phone and go to the bathroom and check everything over.
So, I'm not married, but I've had long-term girlfriends before where I'm like dying to find some like time of my own, and that was always a go-to method. Just I got a stomach ache. I'll see you later.
Yeah. So back to that question for me, like I went to Chicago this last weekend, and I try and limit myself to checking Twitter, checking charts, checking Telegram. Just kind of step away for a while, and I find out that you're more rejuvenated. Like, I couldn't wait to get back Sunday night and obviously first and foremost see my son, and then just get caught back into the swing of things and whatnot. So it really keeps you level-headed if you can just are totally able to put this down and go on.
Yeah, someone asked, like, I think Khalif asked what favorite biographies. One, like, I don't know, I'm pretty sure I've said this one before, but it's like my absolute favorite is The Dark Genius of Wall Street, the story of Jay Gould. And this was back when the markets were very much Wild West all on their own. The stock market was just a shit circus for the most part. So I like it because there's a lot of comparisons you can draw to that time with the stock market when it was just a free-for-all to this current landscape that we're in. So I think that's definitely been my favorite by far.
Yo, shout out Range. What's up, man? Best concert you've been to in the last year, guys?
I don't go to concerts.
I know it's not a concert. I went and saw Kevin Hart. I don't know, January or December. That was pretty cool.
So yeah, I don't go to concerts. I don't have a life. I don't get out. So
yeah, you know what, guys? I'm not like a big concert person either, to be honest. I did see a Kanye West concert in college, which was really,
Horrible.
really good. It was the Glow in the Lights tour in Denver, Colorado at the
Nope.
Pepsi Center. It was
Nope.
amazing. It was Kanye West, Rihanna, and NERD. NERD, I don't really care. Rihanna was really good, actually. Kanye was really good as well. So that was probably the best.
Here,
Kanye is fucking trash.
Sorry.
Crip Chapo says that Floored into the Pit documentary was fire. So I just saw this documentary on YouTube. It's on YouTube, and anyone listening, I definitely say like look this up and watch it. It's called Floored into the Pit, and it's like an hour and 15 long documentary, kind of on pit trading and those guys and how it's changed so much. But it's such a good video to watch, I think, just because
dude, that was like a lot of my fucking life. I want nothing to do with floor pit trading. Like it's not to that degree, but like
I don't know. I think, for people though, they really want to kind of see what it's about, and they see the highs and the lows of what it really can do to somebody who's in this life, the trading life, in a sense. They interview a lot of guys who top of the world to not even around in the game anymore because they got wiped out, stuff like that. So I think it's a really good little flick to watch, because you kind of see a lot of things from guys who were really in it for a long time, and they have some good insights into the whole trading game, right?
Prince, have you seen The Big Short?
Yeah, that was a classic.
I really like that movie, I must say.
Yeah.
Let's talk NCAA basketball here real quick, guys. Heath wants to know who I am scared of Duke playing in the tournament. The answer to that was Michigan State. They got beat by Syracuse. I think they will beat Syracuse Friday in Omaha, and then I think they will beat Clemson to go to the Final Four, and then their last test will be Villanova on their way to the championship. My prediction for the Final Four: Kentucky, Villanova, Duke, and Gonzaga. Fight me.
You know what? Prince and I feel like have nothing on this. I
don't even know what's going on.
Yeah, So I know everybody loves March Madness. I've even since high school, I've never really been able to get into it that much. My boys USC got robbed from the tournament this year, so I'm salty about that, even though I really don't care. I need a reason to be angry. So I don't like that, but I don't care.
Okay, let's see.
What team do the Ball Bros play on? You talking like Lonzo Ball?
No one.
Oh, like that Chinese team they play on.
Oh, Lithuania, isn't it?
Oh yeah, you're right. LaMelo and who's the other one? There's Lonzo, LaMelo. LeVar's the dad.
LiAngelo? Yeah.
I think it's LiAngelo, who's like the forgotten ball.
Anyone taking a scouting trip to Puerto Rico yet? Asking for a friend. I was actually just on the phone with my old man talking about that. I'm like, for all I know, I might be out in Puerto Rico in the next year. So I don't know.
After that Tax Girl episode, yeah, I think we're all considering it.
I wouldn't have to shovel snow anymore, so that wouldn't be bad.
But our weather reports would suck.
Angelo.
The weather reports would turn into what freaking deadly animals I've been running from.
Joe, I am not going to be a helicopter dad. I think, you learn from your mistakes. And if my son gets hurt, then he gets hurt. So
I agree, dude. I'm not a dad, but I think people need to learn lessons on their own. I think if you try to tell them something, people are going to resent you for it, even if you're their dad. I think you really have to let people kind of live and learn their own lessons.
Totally.
Ooh, absolutely. I don't even want to go through the lessons I've had to learn in this, especially in this friggin' markets. But here, you know what? I'll say
it's in life too.
So when I first started trading, I was 17, so about 5 years ago, and I had just gotten my college money into my bank account. So I was like, hey, I'm going to turn this college money into more money, and I'm going to be a pretty smart guy here. And sure enough, I, doubled my money trading shitty ass penny stocks in no time. And, when you first start out, that's probably the worst thing that can happen to you. So I ended up losing everything within about 6 months. And that was all of my education money I had lost, which was at the time, I was pretty devastated. It was like, oh crap, now I got to take student loans. Didn't want to tell the parents. Ended up having to tell my mom, and she wasn't really mad. I didn't want to tell my dad because I knew he would have been choked, but don't recommend anyone doing that. And that was kind of my lesson in the market. Then, I've made it all back and much more since, but it was like, at the time, it was just like, holy crap, like such a learning experience. That's all I could say. Like, it was terrible.
Somebody asked, what do you think of Bitmain releasing an ASIC XMR miner?
Ooh.
Well,
so here's the thing. It's concerning in the short term, but XMR has shown a clear thought that they want to be ASIC resistant for much of the similar reasons why Bitcoin has run into problems with ASICs. ASICs are very centralized right now, and that's going to make a coin less centralized. And XMR prides itself on being decentralized. So XMR is probably going to change its algorithm to be ASIC resistant. So I'm not too concerned about an XMR ASIC. I don't think it's really going to change the game that much. I think the more concerning thing is this XMR botnet sort of thing where, I don't know if this is true. This was true probably like 2 to 3 weeks ago, where maybe 60 to 70% of XMR's hash power was through an unknown like botnet source, which is basically malware. I think that's way more worrisome than ASICs because I think they're going to code away from ASICs, but I don't know how you do that with botnets.
I'm a damn idiot with this stuff, so I'm not going to answer.
Ah, damn it, Dale.
Who was that? Was that from Step Brothers?
Yeah, that's our soundboard.
Yo, Dale has a soundboard that he's been so eager to use. You just did.
This is me right now, too.
I have no money.
Thank you for that.
Does that mean they'll fork? That's a good question, and I have no idea.
I don't think they have to.
Dale.
Enough. No, I'm just kidding. I don't think they really have to fork. There's this XMRP fork, which is allegedly it's been delayed apparently. I don't know. I got to look deeper into this to be honest. I just know they're forking away from ASIC mining.
Yeah.
Colleen, what do you got for us? Ask one more question before we sign off.
Is it really Shark Week?
No, it's off the movie.
Damn it.
Brennan's sweating and I've watched Cops. Maybe it is Shark Week. I always thought that was in the summer.
Does everyone else find themselves watching Cops like every 4 months for like 8 hours at a time? Like you reach a point where there's some day where you're like home from work or on the weekend where there's literally nothing except a Cops marathon on Spike, and you just watch motherfuckers get arrested for like 8 hours straight, and like just have come up with shitty excuses.
Getting all sweaty watching Cops. Do it all the time. Somebody asked me if I have any Canadian weed stocks. I do not. I probably should. I should know enough about that stuff, but I don't. I don't dabble in that. I know some guys who have made.
Dude, we already talked about Zill.
Yeah, I know some guys who have made a killing in weed stocks, but I don't know. I don't know really much about it, so not for me.
When Dale hard fork, I had used a fork to eat supper tonight. Well,
do
guys,
I ship to the USA? Good God.
Wait, real quick. One guy says, LMAO, pot stocks are my only backup. Rest is in crypto.
This guy, I love it. Crypto guy 604, you are my type of person.
That guy's either going to be rich as shit in 3 years or just have zero money.
Hey, he's living the risk. I love it. Guy loves the risk.
Colleen wants to know if my wife has Twitter. She actually created a Twitter account probably like 2 years ago. This is honest to God truth. She spelled her name wrong and can't remember her login, so she hasn't checked her Twitter account in like 5 years, and she's that type of person where she doesn't really have time for social media. So I hold the fort down for both of us, Colleen. Thanks for asking.
God, I just realized we're like an hour and 40 or hour and 15 in now. Jesus, this is flying by.
These are really easy to do, though.
These are a lot of fun.
probably talk forever, but
Oh God, yeah.
we should probably wrap up. So I don't see really ICX. Hey, what's up? Is that Korean Jew trading? Is that like the Korean Jew?
KJ. What's up, buddy?
I don't even know anything about ICX. There's another coin that I keep hearing people talking about. I don't know shit about it. I'm just busy trading Bitcoin lately, guys.
Here's a good question to keep us going. Do your non-crypto people keep asking so much. Do your non-crypto friends know how much time you're invested in the crypto space?
Yeah, because I don't talk to any of them.
My good friends do, but like people, acquaintances, I see. No, they don't. They don't even know I'm in it, probably. It's funny because people from my hometown or close to that know me follow my Twitter account and have no idea it's me. And one of these times I'm going to see him and I'm going to be like, hey, oh God, Gad is bashing me again. And I'm going to be like, hey, you should listen to this podcast. There's these cool dudes on there, but that Dale guy, he's a fucking douche.
KJ says if I knew what I was getting into, I wouldn't have told anybody I was in crypto either. I totally agree with that because
totally.
I like talking about crypto when people thought I was out of my mind talking about crypto. But now that people actually know it's a thing and you just get like stupid question after stupid question, I am like, I don't know, bro. Good question. I don't know. Check out CoinDesk. I'm just like, I just try to get out of it any way I can.
I remember when I first started in crypto, I was telling some of my buddies about it. I was like, yeah, you guys should check this out. But no one really takes it serious, right? It's like, what are you playing? Is some garbage? What is this? Another Yu-Gi-Oh! Online Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards or something? What is this crap?
I misunderstood. KJ.
And then prices start going up, everyone's got attention, and then they're like, oh hey man, how's that crypto going? And you're like, oh, it's pretty good. And then it hits around that 20K and no one's saying anything, and then it drops and it dumps, right? And then the texts start coming in, hey bro, how you doing? It's like, don't friggin' text me asking how I'm doing right now. Like, God, like, get out of here,
That's how. Go away.
Like, thanks, man. Yeah,
I have this one guy. He's like a complete crypto skeptic at work, and like every time Bitcoin drops like $200, he'll like stop by the desk. He's like an older guy, and we're like, "Hey, guy, how's that crypto doing?" I'm like, "You know damn well how it's doing. All right, don't ask me."
Prince, I see someone just said Bitcoin just passed 8,600 on MEX. Does that change anything for you?
Doesn't change anything right now. I could see us run up to 9K. What I'm kind of thinking is we might see a run up to 9K and then a drop back down to 85. That's kind of my bullish scenario right now. And then we continue up. But yeah, it's not looking too bad. I want to see it take out that high it made earlier today. I think it was about 8,700 or so. So we'll see.
Colleen goes, I signed some friends up at 19K. Whoopsie.
Shout out Colleen.
All right.
Yeah. This local trading company person has been pretty active. Hey Alex, how you doing? What else we got? Anything, or are we gonna? You guys want to sign off?
Well, I guess I just gave my little. I could see us going to 9K and then down to 85. But my other scenario is we go down to 77K here soon, and then we go back up. So we'll see what happens. Stay tuned. We never know in these markets.
No, fact. So, all right, everyone, we're going to sign off. So thanks, everyone, for listening. It was love these live ones. So shout out to all of you listeners listening. This will come out Wednesday, I believe. Right, Killer?
Yeah.
All right, stay tuned. We have got these last 2 weeks of March are jam-packed with unbelievable guests. Some of them are people that we haven't had on before. Some are repeats. So you guys pay attention. Listen to the podcast. Make sure you like, subscribe, give us 5 stars because we're all stand-up dudes. Even though Prince is Canadian.
Literally, guys, like the next 10 days, I think we have probably like 7 or 8 guests. So we're going to have a shitload of these coming out. So stay tuned. Thank you for the support. Rate and subscribe.
Yeah. Tip your waitress. Long live Lux, KJ, and Colleen, and Gat. Peace out. Tip your waitress. Take it easy.